Welcome into the Slobberknocker Sports College Football Show. We're back for week 2. We didn't have an official podcast this week. We've been off for a couple weeks. We will be back Monday to recap everything in college football and the NFL. But we will talk all things college football here today. Before we get into all of that, make sure if you're new to the show, like, subscribe, comment below. Let us know who you're picking this week. We did great on our best bets this past week. I went 3-1. If it weren't for Texas A&M, who is my biggest op, losing, unable to be ahead of UTSA by 2 touchdowns at halftime, couldn't stop the run, got outplayed at the line of scrimmage by the fucking Roadrunners. Anyway, regardless, that's the side. 3-1 for me. Turner won his total of the week. Uncle T's total of the week. So we went 4-1. Underdog of the week, not so good. Sam Houston State Bearcats shit themselves pretty much. What's up with your Bearcats, by the way?
They're done, dude. They're done. The Bearcats are our friend of the show. Matthew's not coaching there anymore. They are put a fork in them. They're done. I think they might win like 3 games this year.
They're bad.
And if you guys need an idea, if your team loses early in the day in college football and you need to forget about it, we trust our good friends over at Voodoo Ranger, or Turner does, at least this weekend. I drank about 10 of those in about 3 hours. And if you want to forget your name or what happened in a college football game, Voodoo Ranger is here for you. Thank you, Voodoo Ranger. You know, Miller Lite's never given us sponsorship, so maybe Voodoo Ranger will come through
Worth
for us.
a shot, you know?
Yeah.
I don't agree. I think we'll get Miller, but we'll try for some Voodoo too.
Yeah, that's Bailey's beer choice. He would be happy to get
does
that.
Bailey
Voodoo
like
Ranger.
Voodoo? I didn't know that. Okay.
Oh yes, he's
shout
a
out
Voodoo Ranger.
While we're shouting people out, shout out to Zito's, my favorite sandwich spot in San Antonio. Go get a sandwich, serious sandwich, or an Italian. Brad is the owner over there. He's a San Antonio native, a local, and he runs the best sandwich shop in San Antonio.
Zito's is the best. No
Go
doubt.
get yourself a serious sandwich. They also have the best Diet Coke in San Antonio. I don't know why, but they do. I mean, everything there is phenomenal. Go eat at Zito's if you want a good lunch. Open daily 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Okay, they got 2 locations, by the way. Let's dive into this, all right? And I want to start with a quick, we won't recap, but I want to talk about some quick takeaways.
You got to start with your Longhorns, obviously.
Quick takeaways from week 1. And let's start with this statement. And I'm going to say this, and you tell me if you agree, and we'll kind of go into
Well, let me start with the Rainbow Land storybook that you thought was coming this year. It's officially down the drain. Arch Manning was 6-1 to win the Heisman after that legendary performance. He's now 16-1. The Longhorns are 0-1. The good news for the Longhorns is they play San Jose State, UTSA, and UTEP next, right?
It's UTEP and Sam Houston State.
Oh, there you
Even
go.
better.
Yeah, even better.
Even better.
Even better. So they're going to be okay. They have 3 scrimmages coming up. But I think everybody's overreacting, but we're going to get, obviously, let's get your take on it, because you are Mr. Longhorn here.
Well,
so
here's what I'll say, and this is kind of my takeaway for week 1 of college football, and that's 2 things. Number 1, nobody that I saw was impressive. Nobody looked good. We saw, 3 top 10 matchups, and the 3 teams that won those matchups, they didn't impress me. Ohio State did not impress me whatsoever. I'll get back to them in a second. LSU won the game by a touchdown, looked terrible in the first half, pulled out a close one, won by a touchdown at Clemson. Good win. They didn't look that impressive. Nussmeier was okay. Notre Dame was horrible. Miami didn't look much better. Carson Beck was throwing high balls all over the field, and guys were just making one-hand snags left and right. So nobody looked that good to me, and that kind of leads to number 2, which is what Steve Sarkisian said, which is the days of an undefeated national champion are over, right? And obviously I'm kind of halfway joking when I'm saying I think Texas is going to go undefeated. It's just unlikely to happen, right? We had 1 undefeated team last year going into the playoff, and they lost in the quarterfinals, right? So this is very unlikely. We're not going to see a team go undefeated. That said, let's touch really quickly on these games. Texas, Ohio State first. Tell me if you agree with this, okay? My takeaway from it is this. A, Arch Manning was disappointing, for sure. There's no way around it. I was disappointed in what I saw. I thought Steve Sarkisian's game plan was poor. Ohio State was off, playing a lot of off coverage. I saw 3 screens called the entire game. That's his whole offense. And for some reason, the screen game was non-existent. It felt like Matt Patricia had a very good game plan. He outcoached Sark.
Genius, Matt Patricia.
Well, he is a good defensive coordinator.
Scientist.
He was in that game, I guess. But regardless, I'll say this. I think it is funny, right? Arch was not good. if Arch leads them down the field on that drive, they're at the 50-yard line. He missed 2 easy throws on 2nd and 5 and 3rd and 5 where for some reason he's Uncle Rico sidearming it. But if they complete that pass, it's a first down, and they go score, they probably win the game, right? They had all the momentum. Ohio State was outgained by 100 yards in that game.
Which is crazy to think about. I mean, it was
Julian Sand was not good, and nobody says a word about it. Oh, he was okay. He won his first start. He was not good. Arch was arguably better than Sand. Sand did absolutely nothing. The first touchdown drive that Ohio State had was aided by 2 first down penalties, a face mask, which would have been a 4th down and a punt, and then it would have been a 3rd and 10, and they called a defensive hold on a ball that was essentially thrown out of bounds. So it's 2 penalties that extended a drive. They score on a 4th and 1 from the 4th and goal from the 1-yard line. Right, they had one other touchdown drive the entirety of the game. That was it, right? So defense looked great. I don't see Ohio State as a legit contender. That might be wild to say. I don't think they can win a damn championship with Julian Sand at quarterback unless he improves drastically from what I saw. Would you agree with what I said there?
I think the difference is no one expected Julian Sand to be anywhere near as good as Arch Manning. So that's the difference, I would say. But listen, it's entirely too early for Arch. I don't understand, and I also think the expectations are just not realistic at all. They think he's going to be a running Peyton Manning, the first game that he's out there essentially. I don't know, man. I think he's going to be fine ultimately. I think he's going to be a good quarterback. He needs to use his legs more. I don't understand why that wasn't in the game plan. It's like that's the only reason they bring him into games last year, and then they just wouldn't run him. And
one designed run the whole game aside the quarterback sneak.
So, I mean, and I'm not to say that you need a ton of design runs with him, but I'm just saying when he drops back to pass and there's nobody open, he is fast enough to run and get first downs or whatever. He's athletic enough to do that. It was very weird not to see him do that really at all. Like you said, Sark, who usually runs more screens than anybody on the planet, didn't. We've talked about it before. When you come into these games and you have, especially a game this big, and you have all, summer and spring to prepare for it, you come in with a game plan that what you think you're going to do, and typically you kind of just, it seems like for whatever reason in week ones, coaches just stick with it. There's not a lot of adjustments. I don't necessarily know why, but it just didn't seem like there was a lot of adjusting by either team going on. Defense has dominated the game. Look, if you're Texas, you're happy with your defense. The defense is going to be good. It's probably the best defensive unit in the country.
Really good.
At least top 5. Ohio State's defense looked pretty good for being, young as well. I don't take a lot away from the games. First game of the season, Arch, I did not expect him to be that bad. I think he will get a lot better. I think people are crazy that are just like, ready to write somebody off after one game. Yeah, of course not. But, that's silly to do. But, obviously it wasn't the start anybody anticipated from him. But to me, the big takeaway was him just not using his legs. And I don't know if that's a family decision. I don't know if that's a Sark decision. It could be and not to say that, Arch said that his grandfather says, get out of bounds or get down at the end of every phone call. So it's like, I don't think that they necessarily, I don't think Sark's ever going to have 5 to 6 design runs a game. It's just not going to happen with him.
Maybe not, but I'll tell you what, if he wants to be a player that everybody's looking at as the number 1 pick, he's going to have to start using his legs more. I mean, he's just not polished enough as a pocket passer to sit back there and be Joe Burrow, senior year. It's just not what it looks like. He was missing throws by a wide margin at points. Okay, quick question, and then we'll move on to this week. 4 top 10 teams lost this week in college football. Feels like that might be the most ever. That's not a stat it's not a factual stat, but it feels like it might be.
Right.
Number 1, Texas. Number 4, Clemson. Number 6, Notre Dame. And number 8, Alabama. Of those 4, who should be panicking the most, or who are you most concerned with?
Alabama. I mean, just getting run off the field by Florida State. I mean, Florida State looks like they're much improved. There's no doubt.
Mike Norvell, my boy, he's back.
And how could they not be? I mean, they were a fucking disgrace last year.
Yeah, but that was a big step up.
Yeah. I mean, they and I would love to say I watched a lot of this game. The Voodoo Rangers got me, and this was kind of the time slot in the day that I didn't watch much football. I disappeared for a while, then went to the hot tub, and I asked my buddy, hey, who's winning the Alabama Florida State game? He goes, 17-7 at halftime. I'm like, oh, Alabama's up 10. He's like, no, Florida State's winning. It's like, oh, shit. So I watched a little bit of the second half. Florida State looked good. I have a feeling it's going to be a disastrous year for Alabama. The snowball's already starting to go downhill. You got Legend calling in the Feinbaum, losing his mind. You have the crazy Alabama fans just calling for his head already. Another loss here coming up. I think all hell breaks loose.
What's the quickest DeBoer gets the hook?
End of the year. It'll be the end of the year. They're not going to give it to him. And I mean, unless he goes Norvell and he's like 2 and whatever, and they're threatening to burn the school down.
I don't even think I would be shocked if they fired him even at the end of the year, unless even if they went 3-9, which isn't going to happen. But even if they did, I would be pretty shocked, just because if you set that precedent now, like, you have to be. Obviously, that's an extreme. But, like, what if he goes 8-4, right, and they miss the playoffs again?
Oh, he'll keep his job.
They can't fire him, right? Like, you're setting the precedent. Like, you have to be Nick Saban here. Nobody's going to want the job. That's kind of what happened when he quit. Nobody wanted the job because of that.
Right. Well, if he don't want some
unrealistic expectations.
If he doesn't get in the playoff this year and next year, he'll be gone.
Sure, absolutely he will.
Yeah, but I mean, if it's a horrible year this year, which I could see it being, I mean, it's going to get so noisy so quick. This is the wrong guy. Get rid of him. It's not like Norvell, whose team went undefeated and got left out of the college football playoff, right? So it's like he missed the playoffs last year. They were close. They weren't a bad team. But if they're like 6-6 or something, I could tell, which I don't expect them to be. I expect them to win a couple more games than that. But the snowball could be.
It could happen quick.
It could be bad, man.
Because the fans there are nuts.
The Alabama fans are nuts.
I mean, I'm just looking, and I want to move on, but looking at their schedule here, right? Like, there's 5 or 6 potential losses on that schedule. Like, I don't think it's going to happen, but they sure didn't look good. The defense looked horrible. They looked soft at the line of scrimmage. Florida State absolutely dominated the line of scrimmage.
Tackling. I mean, it was just, people losing their mind about how soft Alabama's
What happens when you get a soft Pac-12 coach in there,
and
right?
You got guys making fucking TikToks in the locker room, dancing around. Nick Saban is fucking sick.
Oh, he's rolling over in his pre-grave over there.
He's rolling over at his lake house. I'm not happy.
All right, let's go to this week. As good as the slate was last week in terms of ranked on ranked matchups, we have one this week, and it's
I think that tends to happen, right? The second week's it seems like it's always the worst.
Yeah, because a lot of the teams who take on those big matchups then take a cupcake week too, which is understandable, right? So let's talk this one big matchup, and I'm sure, I don't know if they've announced it. I assume they have. I'm assuming game day is going to be in Norman for the number 15 Michigan Wolverines traveling to Norman, Oklahoma to take on the number 18 Oklahoma Sooners. Two teams that underperformed last year, both top 25 teams this year, both won week 1. And we'll talk about both teams. The line on this game, interestingly enough, opened Oklahoma -2.5, currently sits 5.5. So this has been bet through the 3 and up
Oklahoma's
to 5.5.
5.5?
Yes, they are. It's up to 5.5.
Good Lord.
Total on the game opened 47.5, and we're down to 45.5. So now we have Oklahoma laying close to 6 in a total with the total under 46. So going to be interesting to see where this line goes. I have a hard time believing we don't see some buyback on Michigan here. That's a big number. I liked Oklahoma at 2.5. I don't like them at 5.5. That's a big number. But here's what I'll preview this game by starting with each team comes in here with a new quarterback, all right? But it's two different types of quarterbacks. On one hand, we have Oklahoma, who brings in John Mateer, the transfer from Washington State. Mm-hmm. He's a veteran quarterback, experienced, played a ton of college football, right? Last week, he threw for 392 yards and 3 touchdowns, albeit against Illinois State in a 35-3 win. OU was only up 21-3 going into the fourth quarter and didn't look that great, to be honest. On the other hand, Michigan didn't either. They started the game up 17-0 against New Mexico, and then it got to actually be a 7-point game as we were heading cless to halftime.
Yeah, it's crazy they didn't score more points against New Mexico.
And still went over the total.
Right, still went there, but yeah.
But I agree. I thought their offense would be much more explosive. Now, Sherrod Moore is suspended right now, so they're short coaches.
Well, that should be a benefit.
That's a good point. But Michigan brings in a freshman quarterback, new quarterback as well, Bryce Underwood, the number 1 ranked overall recruit in the class of 2025. Obviously, they stole him away from LSU. We know that whole story. Paid him a bunch of money. He's a 6'4", 220-pound freshman. Okay, 5-star kid. Now, look, I went back and watched every throw Bryce made in week 1. And I'll tell you this, there are two sides of the coin. There were a lot of throws in the game where he looked like the number 1 recruit in the country. You could see the arm talent. You could see the strength of the arm. You could see him moving on the run and making some throws. And then you saw a lot of throws that showed that he looked like a true freshman. Ball was sailing. Ball was high. A lot of deflections off receivers' hands. He did not throw a pick, but there was 5 interceptable balls that I watched. So I think that's just one place I'll start is you have one quarterback experienced in Oklahoma, playing at home, front of a home crowd, big game, taking on a brand new freshman quarterback. Even though I don't like Sherrone Moore, head coach consistency factor isn't there. No head coach who's calling the plays normally.
Oh, so he's suspended this game as well?
I believe he's suspended.
How many games did he get?
Am I right, Bailey? Was it 6 weeks? I'm pretty sure he was suspended for, let's see, 3 games. Okay. 3 games. So he's missing the first 3.
Well, it makes sense. I didn't think the number would get that high, obviously, but, Mateer's a good quarterback. Like you said, much more experience. The game's in Norman, correct?
Yes.
So, that's not an easy place to play by any stretch. You have a freshman quarterback going on the road who didn't look great against New Mexico. All of it kind of adds up and makes sense. You're without your head coach, freshman quarterback on the road against an improved Oklahoma team with, probably the better quarterback right now. It makes sense that it's being bet that way. I do think I'm going to say Oklahoma wins a game by 10.
Oh, so you think they do cover the number?
Yes. I think they win by 10.
I actually do too. That said, I'm not going to be betting this. I'm not laying a worse number when it's been bet through the 3. I just can't do it. But I do like Oklahoma in this game. I think OU probably does cruise to a win. Here's the one other thing I'll say that was concerning to me about Michigan. This shocked me. So when you look at the numbers of that game,
right?
New Mexico didn't move the ball at all. They ran 98 plays for 267 total yards. That's 2.7 yards per play. They could not move the football, right? So on the surface, it looked great. So you're like, how did they score 17 points? Well, this is what was concerning. They had 2 drives of 12-plus plays, 75-plus yards for a touchdown. So New Mexico twice drove the length of the field in over 12 plays and scored a touchdown. They had a 12-play.
That's crazy.
They had a 12-play, 82-yard touchdown drive in the first half and a 15-play, 75-yard touchdown drive in the second half. That's somewhat concerning to me if I'm a Michigan fan, right? You're going to be going up against a much better offense, much better quarterback. Now, we'll say, from an offensive perspective, I doubt either team showed a ton last week. Why would you? You're going to win either way. You're both massive favorites.
Right.
So I think we're going to see the offenses open up a little bit more compared to what we saw week 1. That said, that is concerning to me from the defensive side. I say Oklahoma wins the game. I'm going to say by 7. I'm going to say they win it. I don't think this is like a shootout by any means. Let's say 24-17.
I'm going to say 27-17.
I say 24-17 Oklahoma. I think it's a tight game most of the way. Here's an interesting thing for you. I don't know if this is because, you have all these prop bets nowadays, and we live in Texas where most of this stuff is not legal. I don't know if you can bet interceptions on college quarterbacks, but if you can get a number on Bryce Underwood to throw an interception at anything under minus 200, I would absolutely lay that. He will throw an interception in this game. I just watched too many balls that were interceptable against a bad New Mexico defense. Oklahoma's opportunistic. Venables, that's his calling card. I think Underwood throws at least one. You might be able to get 2 to him to throw over, or 2 or more picks at like probably plus 300 or 400. I like both of those. I think he throws at least 1, maybe 2 picks in this game. All right. We don't have any other ranked on ranked matchups.
Oh, I just want to say for the record, this early in the college football show, and I hate to do this, Oklahoma will beat Texas in the Red River rivalry.
Thank you, because that means it will not happen. Because there's 0% chance when
by a
Uncle
field
T
goal,
gives
by,
a lot.
By a field goal.
By a field goal.
That's why I'm retired. Yeah, you don't want my locks. It's like the Charles Barkley curse.
Texas won't lose another game until Georgia. God. Until Georgia. Well, that's
until Georgia. Okay.
Then Georgia. It just depends what Georgia looks like at that point. I don't know what they are, but yeah, no. Texas will not lose another game until Georgia. They have San Jose State, UTEP, Sam Houston, Florida, Oklahoma, Kentucky, Mississippi State, Vanderbilt. Those are the games going to Georgia.
Vandy will probably beat them too.
Well, it's at home. It's at home.
Yeah.
At Florida is going to be tough. Besides that, I would like to. You know what? We should try to go to the Vanderbilt game. That would be fun. We should all go to the Vanderbilt game. That'd be a blast. I
want to go with Bailey's drunk brother that always loses his mind.
We need to look for some tickets for that. Okay, the Slobberknocker Sports Crew takes on Austin.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go to our rapid fire picks here. I need a score last week, but I didn't yet.
That's all right. We can score them after 2 weeks.
We'll score them after 2 weeks. So I know I missed some early for sure, but let's go to Friday night, and we'll just do one pick on here because there's not a bunch of good games on Friday night. No Thursday night games because of the NFL season starting. James Madison, 1-0, beat Weber State week 1, 45-10. They're traveling to Louisville, Kentucky to take on the Cardinals. Louisville is a 12.5-point favorite. This has been bet down. It was 14.5 at the open.
I'm going to pick...
Do it.
Louisville.
You're such a bitch. I got Louisville. This isn't even close. Okay, moving on to Saturday. Okay, 11 a.m. kickoff. We're both going to pick Texas, not going to pick that game. All right, here's a great matchup. Interesting number here. We have the number 11 Illinois Fighting Illini traveling to Durham, North Carolina to take on Duke.
Oh, I saw that.
And Illinois is laying less than a field goal here. Numbers 2.5 total, 49.5.
What did Duke do week 1?
They struggled with Elon.
Well, listen, I'm a Brett Bielema man through and through. Give me Brett Bielema and the boys. Illinois rolls Duke.
Here's the thing about this game, and Illinois is a better team. They're a top 15 team in the country. Why is this number 2.5? Like, this stinks.
And it's
this
not like
stinks to high heavens.
And it's not like Duke's it's not like
They're
it's
not
a hard
good.
place to play.
Duke was tied with Elon 10-10 at halftime in week 1. They ended up winning 45-17, but it was a tie game at halftime. I just can't do it. I can't. It stinks. It stinks like dog shit, but I'm going to take Illinois.
You can't do that.
I am. No, I can't take. I'm going to take Illinois. I thought about even giving them out as a best bet. I think that number's just wrong. I don't know. I don't get that one. Okay, here we go. What's is it the Cyhawk? Iowa at Iowa State.
Cyhawk Bowl. Yep.
The Cyhawk Bowl. We have the annual week 2 matchup. Iowa State. How about Iowa State? 2-0. Beat Kansas State week 1.
Yep.
Came back, won and covered last week against South Dakota. Now they play their rival Iowa at home. They're number 16 in the country. Iowa unranked, struggled a little bit offensively with the University of Albany last week. Shocker. Iowa State laying only 3.5.
Iowa State's going to win the game.
I got Iowa State as well.
By the way, we thought that South Dakota game was going to be close against them. They beat the shit out of them. It was like 55-7 or something.
Yeah, it was not close.
Yeah, they killed them.
Now, you know who did have a hangover was Kansas State. They should have lost to North Dakota.
I did see that, yeah.
They barely escaped North Dakota.
I did see that.
Okay. Next one, 11 a.m. kick as well. And here's going to be, it's not a big upset, but I'm going to give you an upset right here. Baylor at number 17, SMU. Baylor looked like shit week 1.
Yeah.
They got stomped by Auburn at home. You had Jackson Arnold, who can't throw a lick, running all over the field. Give me Baylor. I think they pull the upset here. This is Dave Aranda's job, in my opinion. He loses this game and starts 0-2. He won't get fired on the spot, but I don't think he makes it through the end of the season. Like, I think he's fired at some point this season if they lose this game. I think they find a way to win it. Give me Baylor. By the way, one key. Baylor struggled significantly with Jackson Arnold's legs. As good as Kevin Jennings is, he does not run the football well. He's not a big scrambler. He likes to throw. So give me Baylor to pull the upset here.
I'm going to go SMU only because Baylor did look really bad. I think Baylor will improve, but I'll take SMU in the game. They was just such an ugly game against Auburn.
It was bad.
It was ugly.
But they did throw for over 400 yards. Okay, Virginia taking on NC State. Both teams 1-0. NC State laying 2.5.
I'm going upset here. Give me Virginia.
I'm taking Virginia too. That's on my sheet.
Oh my God.
Give me the Cavaliers. Okay, let's see here. We've got another. We're still in the 11 a.m. window here. UConn, 6.5-point dog at Syracuse. Syracuse kind of hung in there last week.
Yeah, I'm taking UConn.
With
Fuck
Tennessee.
the Qs. They're terrible.
You're taking UConn?
Yeah, give me the Huskies.
All right, I'll take Syracuse. Okay. Do you want to pick? We're not picking Liberty Jacksonville State.
No.
Okay.
Rich Rod's on to greener pastures. I had to pay him the respect, but now he's at West Virginia.
Oklahoma State and Oregon. We're not going to pick this game, but it was funny that you had Mike Gundy taking shots at Dan Lanning. By the way, Oklahoma State.
Oh, was he? I didn't see
Yeah,
that.
he was saying they just buy their players. He's like, yeah, we spin to win. Okay, but Oregon, Okie State, we obviously both take Oregon. All right, here's an interesting one. Curious where you're going to go. Number 20, Ole Miss. Traveling to Lexington to take on Kentucky. Got upset by the Wildcats last year at home when they were a perfect 4-0 in week 5. Give me Ole Miss. They win and they cover.
I'm taking Ole Miss.
Of course you are.
Ole Miss by a field goal. They'll fuck around.
Okay. Moving on. Another interesting matchup. We're in the 2:30 window now, by the way. Kansas.
Yep.
Traveling to Missouri. Missouri laying 6.5 right now.
Pretty
Total
big rivalry
51.5.
here for people that don't know. Big rivalry, Missouri and KU.
I'll go ahead and beat you to it. Give me Kansas to pull the upset
I'll
here.
take Missouri.
Okay.
Kansas
Kansas
will Drinkowitz or whatever the fuck his name is.
Dreikwitz, whatever. I like Jalen Daniels. I think they find a way to pull the upset. I think they're pretty talented this year. All right, moving on. We got Fresno State at Oregon State. Oregon State 3.5-point favorite, got killed by Cal week 1. Fresno State bounced back after losing to Kansas and beat Georgia State last week handedly.
I will go. Man, Fresno State looked bad against Kansas. I watched some of that game. I'm going to say Oregon State bounces back, wins this game, close one. I say ugly game. Oregon State by a field goal.
Give me E.J. Warner, the second coming of Kurt, and Fresno State to pull the upset here. I like Fresno State in this game.
They looked good on a couple drives, and then they were just terrible against
They looked
Kansas.
pretty good this last week. They played Georgia State, but it was a pick-em, and they won by 30. Okay, here we go. The I-35 showdown. Texas State, UTSA. UTSA, a 4.5-point favorite. Total in the game, 65.5.
Oh, this is at the Dome, huh?
Yes, sir.
It looked like when I was looking at Texas State's Week 1 result against Eastern Michigan, they scored 52 on them, gave up 27. And, I didn't know if you know this. UTSA replaced every player on their defense. Not that they were, great, but they replaced...
They had one guy back.
Well, when I saw Traylor's deal, he said they lost everybody.
Oh, maybe so.
I have no idea. And both kickers. He goes, I've never seen that happen before. He's like, I lost both my kickers. Not to graduation. They transferred. and so I'm going to go... For that reason, I'll go Texas State.
I'm going to take UTSA, and I agree with you, but I watched this UTSA team play last week, and A&M could not run the ball on them.
Really?
I took A&M because of what you just said. They didn't return. I thought it was one starter, but they returned nobody on defense, and they were not good last year. But that said, A&M, I believe, was outrushed by 100 yards by UTSA in that game. Yes.
Oh, shit, that's wild.
They could not move the ball against them. They threw it well. Marcel Reed threw it well, but they could not run the ball. Most of it was just getting it to athletes in space.
That must be why that number's that way, because it must have been somewhat impressive, because UTSA is favored by 4.5.
It was only an 8-point game or 11-point game at halftime. They hung in there, and then they scored to start the second half. It made it a 4-point game at one point early in the third. Give me UTSA to win and cover here. All right, moving along here. Let's go. Short number here. West Virginia going to Ohio. West Virginia just a 3.5-point favorite. Ohio nearly pulled an upset in Piscataway, but then they realized that you never go to Piscataway and come back unscathed.
Yeah.
It is hard to win in Piscataway, let me tell you.
And you're beat up after going to Piscataway, too.
Damn, you are.
Give me the Bobcats.
Oh, so you are taking the Bobcats.
Yeah, apparently I talked to some guy at the bar the other day that's got a bar in West Virginia. West Virginia alum, has had beers several times with Huggy Bear. Bob Huggins, the man, the myth, the legend, still lives up that way apparently. He said that West Virginia, they won their first game by
Robert Morris, yeah.
They played Robert Morris. He said they fumbled the ball 7 fucking times in the game. They got back 4 of them. But I go, well, wouldn't you say that's a plus that you turned it over 4 times and y'all still? He's like, no, it's not a plus. We're dropping the ball. I said, all right, fair enough. I'll take Ohio.
Yeah, give me West Virginia.
He said they were going to lose, so I'll go Ohio.
Is he a Chris Leak pessimist football fan?
Probably. Kind of seemed like it.
Just picks him to lose every game.
Yeah.
So he's not disappointed. Give me West Virginia. All right, here's a little bit of an interesting one. It's a big number, but it's kind of surprising that it is. South Florida is taking on the Gators.
I saw that match
in Gainesville. It's 17.5. South Florida was impressive week 1. Absolutely annihilated Boise State, who was a top 25 team. Florida 1-0, number 13 in the country. They played a shitty Long Island team and won 55-0 week 1.
Long Island, baby. I didn't even know they played football.
Any shot? Does South Florida pull the upset here? Any shot?
I could see it being a squirrely game for sure. I don't think Florida will cover the 17.5.
I think that's a big number.
It's a big number.
Yeah, I agree.
I'll take Florida to win, but I think it's going to be a close game.
I think Florida wins this, and they win it 28-23, some weird score like that.
Yeah.
South Florida gets a safety. Okay, moving along. We have a lot of really shitty teams as I'm scrolling here. Army, K-State. I'm going to throw this one in here. Army's not looked good, but Kansas State barely beat North Dakota last week. I know Kansas State's a 17.5-point favorite. Any shot?
That's another crazy number to me. with the way Army plays football. And
I agree.
Game,
it's because they lost to Tarleton State week 1.
I get it. Tarleton State's not a bad FCS, and it's one of those deals with, Army. The defense isn't great, but Kansas State, really with the way Army plays football, that 17.5 is like 24.5. And Kansas State does not look good. Kansas State's going to win the game, but I don't think they're going to cover that number either.
I agree. I don't think it's going to be a blowout by any means. Plus, teams, again, coming back from Ireland, it takes them 3 or 4 weeks to get back on track. We saw that last week. All right. Houston, Rice. Houston's a 13.5-point favorite. We didn't even need to pick that. We're both taking Houston.
Give me the Cougs, yeah.
All right. Trying to find. Tulane. And how did they say it? They said it's not BYU, it's the Bayou Jew now. Bayou Jew.
I like the Bayou Jew.
The Bayou Jew in Tulane. Jake Retzlaff.
Nice ring to it.
Yeah, they did me in on one of my website plays last week. He was really good against Northwestern. They spanked Northwestern. They're going to South Alabama. They're just a 10.5-point favorite. I guess South Alabama's supposed to be pretty good this year. I'm going to take Tulane.
I'm going to go Tulane here. South Alabama lost the quarterback that sucked to North Carolina, but he was a good quarterback for South Alabama.
For that team, yes, for sure. All right, let's go on to a good matchup here. Number 12, Arizona State, 6.5-point favorite, traveling to Starkville, Mississippi. The Cowboys will be in full force. It's a night game, almost a touchdown. Arizona State laying here.
Yeah, obviously retired gambler here, but if you could, usually in college football, you buy a hook.
Buy it to 7.
Buy a hook for nothing. I just don't. Arizona State, I think, could find, obviously could win this game, but I really think this game is more of a coin toss at night in Starksville. Yep. I think it could go either way.
Yep.
I'll take Arizona State since we're picking these straight up, but I think Mississippi State is a live underdog in that one.
They're definitely a live underdog.
And I'll actually make that my underdog pick of the week because I will flip it. I'll go Mississippi State, and I'll make it Uncle T's double digit, even though the fake double digits, we can go touchdown underdogs. I got to get on the board after I had faith in my Bearcats, and they shit the bed last week.
You would go with a 6.5-point dog.
Well,
here.
You told me. I thought we were allowed to do that. Touchdown.
Yeah, 7, but I'll allow it.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I think anything that's 2-1 on the money line or more,
they're plus 190, so we're stretching it here.
Yeah, whatever.
I'll give
Mississippi State is a winner.
I'll give it to you. Okay, I like the pick. I'm taking, but so you are taking
I'll
on the
flip
Pick'em show. You're taking them.
I'll take Mississippi State.
You don't get the double points though. You don't get the double points.
No,
you
it's
don't
double points.
No, you don't. You said that to me last week when I took a 13.5.
I'll still take them.
Oh, you still got them. All right, I got Arizona State, Michigan, and Oklahoma. We both already picked Oklahoma. Going to be a tight game. Here's the game of the week, baby.
This is going to be a good game.
Be a good game. We have the 1-0 Vanderbilt Commodores, which means they're now 4 wins away from cashing the win total. They're going to be 3 wins away after this week because they pull the upset, even though it's not really an upset. They're a 1.5-point dog. They were open to 3-point dog, man, bet down already. Vanderbilt, Diego Pavia for Heisman. My Vanderbilt Commodores will take down the Virginia Tech Hokies this week. Give me Vanderbilt. Lock it in. That is a winner.
Bailey, I hate to do this, and honestly, it's probably better in your benefit anyway, but Vanderbilt is not going into Blacksburg at night. Enter Sandman coming in. Virginia Tech's going to win that game. I'll tell you this. One of the games I did watch most of when I was sobering up was Sunday, Virginia Tech and South Carolina. Watching that game, I think Virginia Tech's a pretty good football team.
No, they actually are. I was impressed by them.
Besides that punt return, I mean, that game, they went into South Carolina territory twice on drives. One sack and then a 15-yard penalty moved them out, and then another one was just a drop, an absolute drop.
Wasn't there a pick in the end zone too, I think?
Or maybe earlier on.
Earlier in the game.
But those receivers for Virginia Tech, one white kid and then the other big black kid, are very good receivers. And if Drones or whatever the fuck his name is can just get the ball out to him,
Drones.
I think Virginia Tech can make – I'm going to say that they're going to be right there at the end of the year playing to possibly get into the ACC championship. I know Clemson's far better on paper. I know Miami is. I'm just saying, listen, I would say this. They're not going to the ACC championship, but I think they're going to finish in the top 4 of the ACC.
No, that's actually fair. I'm looking at their schedule here. If you look just ACC, at NC State versus Wake Forest, who's horrific.
Yeah.
At Georgia Tech's going to be tough. They're pretty good. Versus Cal, versus Louisville, at Florida State, versus Miami, at Virginia. Yeah, they're not going to be bad. I think they have it. I think the three games that are going to be determine whether they're competing or not. This is obvious, but is at Georgia Tech, at Florida State, and at home against Miami. They go 1-2 in those games and win every other ACC game. They're finishing in the top 4. They go 2-1, they might be in the ACC championship.
I think they're going to be at the end of the year. I think they'll be 9-3.
I don't think that's impossible. I think it's
more than likely 8-4. But I'm
going to say 7-5 or 8-4. But I do agree with what you're saying. I think this game goes a long way to deciding what their final record is. This is a huge game.
If it wasn't for that punt return, which just swung the momentum, and then South Carolina scored on that bomb,
Yeah, it didn't look great.
I mean, South Carolina. Yeah,
it
could
didn't
have
look great
very
for South
easily lost that game.
I agree with you on that one for sure. Here's a game on NBC and Peacock, 6:30 Central Time. Boston College traveling to East Lansing to take on Michigan State.
I know nothing about
Sparty's
either of these
a 4.5-point favorite.
point, but I will take Sparty at home.
I'm going to take the upset here. I think Boston College wins this game.
Okay.
I like.
Who's playing quarterback for them now? After Cassiano left.
Who's playing quarterback for Boston College?
Do you know?
It's
Cassiano's left, so I don't know who it is now.
His name is Dylan Lonergan.
Yeah.
Dylan Lonergan. I don't know where he was last year. He was he was the backup at Alabama last year. That's right. That's right. Yeah. So Boston College, I think, will pull the upset here. Michigan State really just struggled to score again last week. They looked very similar to the way they did last year. Okay, moving on. Do you have the games pulled up right here?
Yeah.
I'm lost my spot here. Where are we at?
To
you have anything left?
UCLA at UNLV.
Yeah, give me
I'm going UNLV.
Give me
Fuck
UNLV.
Nico.
I don't know if you saw anything. Did you see the score to the UCLA game?
I just saw they got killed. I was passed out at that point.
Yeah, so I had a money line parlay. Utah opened 3.5. This closed 6, and I parlayed Utah and South Carolina money line, which paid about even money, and Utah absolutely stomped UCLA. Like, it was over in the first 2 quarters. It was 23-7 at halftime. Nico, 11 for 22, 136 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. He was horrible in this game.
Yeah.
And to be fair to him, they have absolutely no weapons. They don't. Right. But Deshaun Foster, the head coach for UCLA, is a clown. That was a horrific hire. Now you go getting a clown at quarterback. This is going to be a disastrous year for the Bruins. Give me UNLV. All right, what's the next one?
Next one is
there any left?
San Diego State, Washington State.
Is it,
at
what is
9:15,
it?
It's a pick'em. Yeah, pretty much.
Give me Washington State at night. You never fade the Cougs at night at home.
And San Diego State's been horrible.
Yeah.
And then, let's just pick the 11 o'clock game just because. Sam Houston on the road at Hawaii. Give me the Rainbow Warriors.
You never fade the Rainbow Warriors at night.
Sam Houston State's going to get the shit kicked out of them.
10:59 p.m. Central Standard Time.
They always do that.
So it's the same. It's the same day if it's Eastern time.
Correct.
Got
that
it.
is correct.
For the ESPN scoreboard.
Yep.
Okay. That's our rapid fire picks. Let's go into our best bets. Uncle T already gave his underdog of the week. Go ahead and give your total of the week.
My total of the week is gonna be, what did I say? Texas Tech playing Kent State. Kent State's obviously just terrific. Over 58.5 points. I think Tech can put up 52 themselves. I think Kent State's got to score 7. I think it's going to go over. That's my guess. I know Tech was playing Pine Bluff, who's probably the worst team in the entire country.
Turner's over there salivating. National championship, Tech. They're going to the national championship.
0% chance. But they do have a better record than the Texas Longhorns at this point.
Well, yeah, when you play fucking, the school of the blind and the deaf, and you don't.
Here comes San Jose State.
If Texas Tech, that's the team who almost lost to Abilene Christian last year by a point at home. If Texas Tech went to Ohio State last week, they'd have lost by 77.
Oh my God! Here we go.
The biggest. They'll be lucky to go 6-6 this year.
Coached by an absolute genius.
What was the number this year? What was the number on that game? Texas
58.5.
58.5. Okay. All right. Let's go to my best bets here.
Let's do it.
Okay. Went 3-1 to start. Hot start.
Breaking news on ESPN. I know it's a college football show, but Anna Samovic steals the first set from Swiatek.
No one watching the show knows what you just said.
Well, it's U.S. Open, guys. Come on. We're cultured here.
Yeah, this is a high-end luxury show.
Yes. My God.
Especially, you should know that from the beginning of the show, even though I might not put it in of Turner's story. Okay.
That story is not going in.
You said you were going to ask her. This guy, I'm going to put in without telling you.
Well, that won't be the first time.
Yeah, well, you look, when you say shit all over random parts of the show and expect me to edit it, it's just not feasible, okay? All right, best bets. That one's a fair request. Let's start off with a team I picked in the Pick'em. And I have a hard time doing this, but K-Mac1's going to love this. I'm going to go with the Baylor Bears, but we're going to buy this to 3, okay? You can buy it to 3 for minus 120, okay? So we're going to buy this to 3. We're going to get the Baylor Bears plus 3. They're taking on SMU in Dallas. Look, Baylor is more than a live dog here. If this game was played last week, I have a hard time believing this line was 3. Like, I think the recency bias of the Auburn game has gotten this number to where it is. Baylor on paper is just as talented as SMU, okay? Both quarterbacks are pretty solid. Sawyer Robertson last week threw for over 400 yards. He was actually really good against a solid Auburn defense.
He was good.
Baylor just could not run the ball. That was number one, the issue. And number two, they were 3 for 6 on 4th down. They had 3 turnover on downs in the game, okay? And Auburn, that game was a 7-point game most of the way through. Auburn scored late. Baylor had a 4th and 1, like on the 20-yard line, but there was, like, they were trying to score before the 2-minute warning. So instead of just getting the first down, they took a shot to the end zone and completed it. Very easily could have scored there, lost by 7. This might be a different number. I think we're getting some value here. I make this a pick at SMU. SMU does not have a huge home field advantage. And as I mentioned earlier, this is Dave Aranda's job, in my opinion. It really is. Not that I love Dave Aranda, not that I think that means it's a lock by any means, but I just think Baylor is going to be ultra-focused this week. SMU, as good as they were last year, as good as Kevin Jennings was last year, he's not a great runner, and that is what Baylor struggled with week 1. Jackson Arnold ran for like 150 yards.
Shout out Jeremiah and Jackson Arnold.
Arnold
just one year late.
Jackson Arnold
for Heisman.
Yeah, he threw for 108 yards in the game. He did not look good as a quarterback. He just ran a bunch.
$1.50.
So I like Baylor. This is a must-win for them. Give me the Bears. Buy it to 3. Baylor Bears plus 3. Best bet number 1. All right,
That's when you know you've lost your mind, when the first week didn't necessarily go as planned, and now you're reaching out for Baylor week 2.
I went 3-1. What are you talking about? I went 3-1 week 1. I'm not reaching out for anything. Okay, we're going to go to the SEC for pick number 2. I might be a fool for this one. I'm not somebody who normally lays over a touchdown, but I'm going to kind of play a spot here, and I'm going to go with Ole Miss, the Running Rebels, laying 9.5 against Kentucky. Now, Ole Miss last year went into this game, this matchup, at home, taking on Kentucky, who looked horrible up to that point. They were number 6 in the country. They were 4-0. Jackson Dart was in the Heisman conversation, and Kentucky stormed in to Ole Miss and took down the Running Rebels 20-17. Okay, I think we see a different or a motivated Ole Miss team here. Lane Kiffin is a vindictive type of guy. All right, he remembers that last year Kentucky beat them, that they were 1 loss away from going to the college football playoff. I think he absolutely lays it on Mark Stoops if he can here. Look, Kentucky week 1 struggled mightily offensively, taking on a MAC team. They beat Toledo 24-16. All right, it was pretty much a 1-score game the entire way through. But the key is Kentucky's quarterback is none other than Zach Calzada, the former pride of Texas A&M, the former pride of Incarnate Word. I don't know how he's got eligibility left, but he does. The 37 years old. Regardless, he was 10 of 23 for 85 yards, 3.7 yards per pass, 1 interceptions, no touchdowns against Toledo. And now he's going to take on an SEC defense.
Toledo's got a fantastic defense.
Kentucky, they do have a good defense, but Kentucky, they don't have the athletes Ole Miss does. Kentucky's going to struggle to score here, all right? This number is too short. It should be 14. I like Ole Miss here. They run away with it. They're going to win this game, I'm going to say 31-10. They're going to win this game by 21 points. It is not close, okay? Best bet number 2, give me Ole Miss laying 9.5. All right, number 3, we're going to buy one more. I'm being a little chicken shit here buying this, but I'm going to take Kansas. We're going to buy it to 7 here, minus 125.
Yeah, who the fuck you think you are just buying all these points?
You just did it on your underdog of the week, so I can do it too. Kansas plus 7 at Missouri, minus 125. We'll grade it that way. We're going to grade it with the juice, okay? I love this Kansas roster. Jalen Daniels, people were talking about him in the Heisman conversation last year going into the season. Kansas was ranked in the top 25. They had a disappointing season, didn't make a bowl game. I think Kansas is a live dog in this matchup. You know who Missouri's quarterback is? Bo Pribula, the former Penn State backup to Drew Allar.
No, he's awesome.
He had 4 total touchdowns week 1, but they played a horrible FCS team. Not a ton of experience for Pribula. Big game, rivalry game, as Turner mentioned earlier. Okay, yes, it's in Missouri, but I think this is just a tight game regardless. Look, if you don't want to buy the half a point, take 6.5. I still like it. I just think it's worth taking it to 7. If we see a tight game or an overtime game, you're covered on a touchdown and an extra point. Give me Kansas plus the 7. A lot of loss on the offensive side of the ball for Missouri. Kansas has a good amount of returners back. They have some good receivers. Their defense looked pretty good early in the game against Fresno State. All right, last one. We're going to go with a very high total here. They say you take the lowest totals under and the highest totals over. We're going to do that here with UTSA and Texas State. The I-35 showdown at 65.5. Both teams in their first game last week went over this number. All right, 45 points were scored by Texas State last week. UTSA, that game went over with A&M by 1 point. It was 66. I think this is an absolute shootout. Both teams throw the ball. Right. Neither team returned anybody on defense. Neither coach trusts their defense at this point in the season. I think we see an up-tempo, high fast-paced game. I like UTSA and Texas State to go over the total. I think this is somewhere like in the neighborhood of like a 42-35 final score. UTSA did return their quarterback in Josh McCown's son, who can sling it all over the yard. UTSA is not bad offensively. They put up 17 on A&M last week against pretty good defense, ran the ball well against them. I think this is a shootout. Give me the over in the Texas State UTSA game, 65.5. To recap one more time, Turner's dog of the week is going to be Mississippi State plus the 7 on the bye and plus 190 over Arizona State.
But I thought my underdog always had to do money line.
Well, it's both. We graded on the spread and the money line.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Love that. Love it.
Texas Tech, and who are they playing again? Kent State?
No, Kent State.
Tech.
Golden Flash.
Kent State Gold Flash over 58.5. Now, keep in mind, Uncle T's total of the week, that's a best bet along with my 4. The underdog of the week is a side play. So let's go Texas Tech, Kent State over the 58.5, and then recapping my 4 best bets. We got Baylor plus the 3 on the bye, Ole Miss minus the 9.5, Kansas plus the 7 on the bye, and over 65.5 Texas State UTSA. That leaves us with one last piece of business to get to, and that's our parlay of the week. Now we're going to do this on the spot because we did not come up with one before the show. So I'm gonna spout some lines here at you. You tell me
what are your favorite 3? Why don't we just do your best bets?
No, I want to have a separate. I want it to be a separate one.
Okay,
I want it to be a separate one.
Okay.
Okay. So tell me if you like. How about we go? We both picked Iowa State.
Yeah. So
how about we go Iowa State minus the 3?
Yep.
Okay.
Illinois. Fuck Duke.
That was on here. Illinois minus 2.5. Fuck Duke. All right, we got 2. We need one more.
Yep.
I had these 2. I had Tulane minus 9.5 against South Alabama. Oh, I take it back. Dude, this is too easy. Why would I even say that? Vanderbilt plus the 1.5.
No, Vanderbilt's going to lose to VT.
No, Vanderbilt plus the 1.
Vanderbilt.
Okay, then
no
pick
deal.
Then pick
Mississippi State plus 7.
I want it to be different than your underdog play.
Yeah.
Different than that one.
Let me hold on.
Texas A&M, Utah State over 54.5. I wrote.
Pull this up.
I can't believe Bailey that he didn't want to go.
Vanderbilt's going to lose.
He denied the Vanderbilt. Watch. We're going to win the first 2. Vanderbilt will win, and it will cost us. We'll lose the third one. And it'll be because Turner said we can't go on Vanderbilt.
We're not going against.
Well, you got to make the last pick then, since you're taking off Vanderbilt.
I'm trying.
I'm scrolling through here too, trying to find something that we both picked as well.
Why don't we just go Oklahoma money line on that? Just take a little bit less. It'd pay 5-1 instead of 6.
Okay, I like that. Like that. Oklahoma money. So we're gonna go Oklahoma money line, Illinois minus the 2.5, and Iowa State minus the 3.
Fucking winner.
Miller Lite. Oh, wait.
My God.
I was going to say Miller Lite. Voodoo Ranger.
Yep, the Voodoo Ranger
parlay of the week. How about that?
Yep,
Lock
shout
it
out
in.
Voodoo Ranger.
Shout out Voodoo Ranger.
Forget your name.
Shout out Zito's.
Flip-flops end up in the lake somewhere a long way away.
Comia. Chris Studios. Tejas Records.
Yep.
Beard Pin.
Beard Pin was one of the greatest products of all time. It was just before its time.
It's extinct now.
Before its time.
I'm sure there's still a factory in China making them.
So maybe we get Michelle on next week.
Yes, I'm going to reach out to Michelle.
We'll see how the matchups are. I'd like to have her on for weeks.
Yeah, for a good show, for sure.
Yep.
All right, that's all we got. Make sure if you're new to the channel, like and subscribe. That's all of our picks for this week. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. We'll be back on Monday to recap the NFL and college football week 1. And we'll hopefully keep a watch out for maybe some exclusive big dog content this week for some NFL picks might be coming your way.
Nothing like it.
Hope you guys enjoy the show. Catch you guys next time.